Alright guys, Kremp again. I hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. The CDL gave Rinkor the official Rookie of the Year title for the regular season and absolutely deserved. But after the World Championship and the World Cup, things have changed to some degree. People looking at Mercules as having, if not the best, certainly one of the best rookie seasons of all time. What do the pros think about this? What does Scrap think about it and Mercules? Teammates, the big debate was Simp's rookie year in 2019 or Mercules' rookie season better? Who had the most impact? Who was the better player during that cycle? And maybe some surprising outcomes in terms of what these players actually think. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I greatly appreciate it. Thought this is kind of cool. Study was running a $10,000 tournament, or well, it was actually $9,200, and not quite a 10K unfortunately. But yeah, ran a cool tournament there. It was nice to see. I think the winner was yeah, it happened this morning anyway. These guys ended up taking the victory in the $10,000 or $9,200 tournament. So congrats to those guys. It's cool to see this starting really. I just wanted to mention it because we're getting to that point in the off-season. People are starting to say, okay, what sort of tournaments are we going to have being run? OpTic have just run a phenomenal legacy week with all those old school throwback games. Could Kaysun, the guys at FaZe, try and do something similar? Could Kaysun run another like off-season tournament? What's, you know, Hitch going to cook up anything, right? Not to say, you know, they're going to be more online stuff when you put 2 players on this team, 2 players on that team, especially once the teams are locked in. Zuma could get involved. We've seen this type of stuff before. I'm sure it's going to be happening again as well over the next couple of months. So nice to see that starting up nice and early. I'm down for some more Black Ops 3 throwbacks, I'm not going to lie. I'm just going to put it out there. Now, this is an interesting clip from Octane talking about Dashy, because Dashy is undoubtedly, at this point, it doesn't still feel like it somehow, but Dashy is one of, if not the, with Slasher potentially coming back, potentially not, biggest veterans in the league. Dashy's played since Infinite Warfare, right? Like, he's played since the 2017 season, which is 8 years ago coming up on now. Attach is now retired. Obviously, Slash has been around a long while, but of that original kind of, I don't know what to call it, a trifecta exactly, but there was a few players like Accuracy and Slasher and Attach who were around since, you know, Ghost earlier, something like that. Of course, all those guys have pretty much called it a day. Slasher, we'll see. I'd love to see Slasher still get back in the league. I actually still think he's good enough to be deserving of a spot. It's just, if Slasher is back in, he's going to be on a team further down the pecking order. Does he really want to do it? It's a good question. But Dashy is, I mean, I don't even want to say towards the end of his career because he might still keep going for a long time. We know how Dashy has been very vocal of how competitive of an individual that he is. And he talked about it in some depth when he sat down with Hitch, saying that he realized that he wasn't the player that he needed to be inside and outside of the game, especially when Scump retired and said, hey, Brandon, like, this is on you now. Then he really leveled up and started to deliver and focused inside and outside of the game and did everything it took to become the winning player that he is today. So in many respects, I think Dashy's got a long life left as a player. He's also, I think Dashy found a good balance of playing enough COD, but also playing other things. You know, he plays a bit of CS. He recognizes that it's actually not best for him to grind COD 15 hours a day, maybe like he used to. It's better for him to practice, be concentrated when he does, enjoy other things as well, make sure that his sleep schedule's locked in, all these other things that Dashy's realized over time and has made him a better player. And it's not like Dashy's raw talent has gone away at all, and it's never going to go away. So if Dashy still has the motivation, then he can probably stay around for a very long time to come. The point is that Dashy spent a very long time without winning basically anything, right? He had 2 championships in, 7 years? Wasn't a world champion. So much pressure was on him going into the 2024 season, let alone the world championship that year, to actually get over the line. And after several years of not being, you know, always having crazy talent, but not always executing on that for multiple reasons, Dashy figured it out. And the question that Octane is raising is Scrap in a very similar predicament?
Is better Scrap or Dashy? Out of pure mechanical skill, I think they're pretty fucking close. I think like they do different things though. I think Scrap is just early career Dashy. I think like Brandon has evolved from where Scrap is as a player, but I think that Scrap is just like very early career Bruce. Like mechanically, I think they're pretty close. I just think Brandon does more for a team right now than Scrap does. Scrap is just pure talent, pure kills, pure slaying. And I think Brandon brings a lot to the table that Scrap doesn't do. So I think both of them are highly coveted because like Scrap's the best at what he does. But I think that Brandon does more as a player for your team. But I mean, it's just however you view those values is how you determine who is better. I don't know. Because I think better just like pure slaying and pure mechanical ability, I think they're pretty close.
I think with Scrap, you know, when he talks, he's an unbelievably talented player. And I think people say, oh, Dashy shoots the straightest. And maybe he still does. And I think he's certainly top 2, right? But Scrappy's right there. Like, I actually think people sometimes underrate Scrap's like pure gunny and talent because he's just a slightly different player to Dashy. But I actually think that Scrap's raw gunny is probably on a par with Dashy, like very, very similar anyway. And also has plenty of other things going for him as well. So I think the comparison is valid for Octane. And the question is that it took many a year for Dashy to start becoming a winning player, but also to get his World Championship ring. Scrap made his finals at his first attempt back in Modern Warfare 2. The last couple of years at Champs is far from gone to plan. So yeah, something for him to certainly figure out. I think it's a pretty interesting comparison that also Scrap will have to think about because he could look at Dashy's career and say, okay, maybe if I changed in XYZ regards, then I could, become a better, more winning championship level player. But we'll see if that will actually happen. Now, the other thing the guys, of course, were talking about is BO4. And this is where the debate started to emerge, was on who had the better rookie season. Lots of the guys have been going back and watching some of these old Black Ops 4 VODs over the last few days. Simp was the greatest that we'd ever seen that season. This guy was out of control. So, just to break down the lore real quick, United started out the Black Ops 4 season with JCap in the roster, and they actually were pretty good. They made the grand finals of the first event in Las Vegas. They lost to OpTic at that event. Then they slumped a bit. There was big drama between Clayster and JCap. Eventually, JCap gets dropped. Simp turns 18. He's old enough to play. And Simp, by the way, it's funny how it works, because Mercules was kind of known, but he wasn't expected to be this good. But Simp was like that guy, right? Like ever since Simp was like 14, 15 playing, I was watching him playing Black Ops 3 Charles, I'm like, God damn, when this guy's 18, he is going to be a serious problem in the league. And given what Simp did, iLLeY then had huge hype when he came in the following year, and then he won the World Championship at his first time of asking, right? So, there were lots of things that made it a crazy couple of seasons of COD, but Simp was known to be like the next big thing. And when he was on the United Cadets, where it was Simp, it was iLLeY, it was Cellium, of course, who'd come in that year to FaZe and started to do some pretty impressive things, and it was turn up too easy. But Simp came in for JCap and was basically immediately godlike, right? Like, he didn't win every event that they played. They came seconds. I think they maybe had a 6th after that. But then, of course, they won back-to-back the final 2 events of the season. And Simp was just ungodly at the end of the year. You were watching this guy play thinking like, wow, I've never seen COD played at this level so quickly before. And the funny thing is that Simp, unbelievable player, obviously, but has he ever really reached those heights again as a player? Maybe in Cold War at a time? But Black Ops 4 Simp, which was his first game, halfway through the season he came in, was pretty much the best Simp has ever looked, I would say. And people that are watching back then would tell you that when Simp first came in, it was like, damn, this kid might just win everything for the next decade. Now, of course, that's not how it's turned out. So people are looking at the numbers. People are looking at Search KD, Hardpoint KD, Control KD, whatever. Now, it's also worth noting that Mercules, for good or for bad, in terms of his rookie season, didn't come into a team full of bums, right? Like, yeah, the team was struggling heavily. OpTic were in a bad spot. But it was still Shotzzy, Dashy, and obviously Huke, right? Like, incredible players, all world champions at that time already. For Simp, you could still argue that was true. They had a great team over there. It was obviously Clayster, Arcetes, Pristini, and aBeZy to round out that roster, as we know. But it's just one thing to go both ways, because it says, well, Mercules didn't have as many kills on the map, if you want to suggest it that way. But also, it's not like Mercules joined a team that were terrible and magically made them godlike. I mean, he did, but the potential was there, is what I'm trying to say, that Mercules was able to unlock. So, what's the right answer to this question? Who had the best rookie season? Was it Mercules? Was it Simp? This is what some of the guys have to say.
Maybe a couple times early, I was like, Mace, maybe you should do this. Like, oh, you'd like to play here? Like, we were kind of just, because we're AR. So, like, maybe, like, for example, on Protocol, like, I usually play top sharps. He plays up there. I'm like, you like it up here? He's like, yeah, I always play here. I'm like, this kid's low-key him. I'm like, got it.
All right, I'll play somewhere else.
I'll figure it out. I'm like, yeah, I got it. But then there's sometimes I'm like, Mace, maybe you could have did this. You could have helped me out here.
Yeah,
like, whatever. And he's like, honestly, a great teammate with that. Like, he has, dude, he's so unique, man. Like, for how good he is, he doesn't have no ego. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he's like a sponge to all the info. And he's also just, and it's the best trait to have in a teammate. Because even after winning, like, because I've experienced just winning with other teammates, and it does change them sometimes. So for him to just win and just like after champs, it was the same exact person at EWC. I'm like, oh my God, like, you won champs MVP. Like, this is like the pinnacle of COD. And you still think that, like, you still won with the team. He doesn't really think of himself like, oh, I'm this guy that I saved you guys, basically. You know what I mean?
So
because he did.
Because he did.
Thank God. You did save us, bro. But it also, for me, like, I've experienced like just being dominant, and like some teams like it's been scrims. So I'm like, okay, let's just wait maybe another day, like another day of scrims, another good team of scrims, and then it kept going, and I'm like, this kid is so consistent.
Yeah.
I was like, we're playing so much better. Like our team chemistry, we didn't have to call like, yo, we call this, we do this, we do that.
Right.
Bro, it was instantly. This is like, we don't have to say a word. We're playing the game, 30-point clubbing teams. I'm like, this is weird. Like, because that's like the hardest part is the natural chem and COD. You can't really teach people where they like to play, how they like to play it.
Yeah.
Like they're gonna do what they usually do, and then if it turns out to be like good for a team, that's like the best thing you could ask for.
Yeah.
Like, bro, everybody's doing what they want to do, and it's like teamwork. Basically what happened.
Bro, his like start to his career's got to be insane. Like one of the most insane ever, if not the most insane ever.
It's the most insane ever.
Probably is.
I mean, who else can be like? He just won the 2 biggest tournaments.
Simp, basically. But
No,
like, E9 was also
he-
good that year.
He won 2 biggest tournaments. You can't beat that.
Simp's year, he won the 2 biggest tournaments, if you think about it that way.
What's the second biggest tournament?
The finals, CWL finals, Miami. There's no EW. They didn't have EWC back
Exactly.
then.
That's just not the same.
Yeah.
The fact that Scrap was giving him loads of gas here, I thought was pretty telling. Now, also, I will say, Simp's rookie season now was 6 years ago. So there's always going to be a bit of an element here of recency bias. And I think, honestly, you can debate it either way. I think there's two sides to this, right? Was Simp the better individual player in terms of who had the best like level of play during their rookie year? It is Simp's. I don't think anyone's going to be able to surpass like what he was doing on the map at the biggest tournament of the year, having just come into the league, like single-handedly just having insane takeover maps was ridiculous. But what Mercules did for his team was probably bigger, right? I mean, as Scrap says, it's insane to come into the biggest team and take them from being literally terrible to back-to-back champions looking basically impossible to beat. Simp took a team that was already very good and made them basically unbeatable at the end of the season. So, you know, it's an interesting debate for sure. When Zuma's community was asked about this, 65% went to Mercules. So I think, you know, obviously you've got to take these stats with a bit of a pinch of salt because a lot of OpTic fans are probably going to vote Merc. And also, there is recency bias, but I wouldn't even call it recency bias. It's just a lot of people watching today weren't around when Simp had his rookie year. And that's great for the scene, right? Like, it's good that we have loads of people who have joined during the CDL era that have watched for a year, 2 years, 3 years or something, and they didn't watch Simp when he played his rookie year. And that's good for the scene. Also, Zuma, FaZe content creator, you might expect maybe a bit more FaZe bias than usual. So, look, I think it's probably about 50-50. I think you can probably argue it either way. But yeah, and tweet your thoughts in the comments. There are some other candidates maybe for rookie of the, you know, greatest rookie season ever. Brian Stats comes up with them. Mercules, 2 championships, world champion. Simp, 2 championships, world champion. Obviously, he was the MVP as well, average placements. Shotzzy was up there too, right? 4 championships, world champion, season MVP, great average placement in Modern Warfare 19, but, you know, wasn't that guy the whole time, and obviously they started the year with him. You can talk about Kremp and you can talk about Mercules and BO2. That's some pretty interesting arguments as well, that it's kind of funny to think about Kremp being a rookie, but yeah, it kind of makes sense. But also it was a bit of a different time back then. Certainly in the CDL era, or like, well, let's say in the last decade, the debate is really between Simp and Mercules, and people are going to have their perspective on which one is the correct answer. But very much into your thoughts on all of this stuff in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new. Take care. And I'll see you next time.
Let me know if I'm cooking or not, but like racism is funny, bro. We gotta allow racism in just a funny, like, funny way. But if you start like doing it like crazy, you know what I'm saying?
If I start talking
like,
about racism, they're gonna all call me racist.
you start doing it in like a crazy
one.
way, like just as you're just spamming it only. Like if you're just only spamming the hard R, like all right, like get a grip of yourself. But like if you just making like a funny little black joke, if you do like a little black joke here and there, that shit's funny, bro.
Yeah, I think it depends.
Like that one dude on Twitter called someone Coonjar or some shit. I'm like, bro, that's hilarious. Like that's hilarious, bro. Like don't kid, like that's not that deep. Like who gives a fuck? It is not that deep.
I think, Don, like always, context is important, bro.
Yeah, it's just as long as you're not going OD with it, like.
Nah, yeah. If it's like a joke or you're just messing with your bros or messing with your boy or something, like situations matter. If somebody's